If you're intending to relocate, but you haven't really decided exactly where you're going, or you haven't made sort of concrete plans to do that, I suggest that you do that sooner rather than later. I've just posted a bit of an article on the Overseas Exiles website, and it just outlines just briefly some of the reasons why you would want to consider moving sooner rather than later, because we're getting into a period of time that is going to make it a lot more difficult to actually do that relocation. So one of the problems that you are facing at the moment, and we've known this for a while, is particularly with the restrictions on travel. And some of those are lifting at this point in time, but they may not last like that for long. So we're not sure about that 100% anyway. The other thing that we're sort of identifying at the moment is inflation. And there's big problems with that. A lot of people are sort of talking about Russia and a lot of the sanctions that have been put on Russia and a lot of the oligarchs. And, you know, that's sort of a bit of a double-edged sword, because what we're seeing at the moment is not so much a problem with Russia's ruble or their currency. The problem is with the US currency. Now, the reason for that is that people are no longer trading in US dollars. A lot of people still are, but there's a lot of transactions that are now being done in different currencies or direct transfer. So what they would have to do in the past was actually go through the Bank of International Settlements and use US dollars. So you're basically trading your local currency for US dollars. And that's what you would trade in. Or you would purchase something in US dollars, and then the guy that is selling you the product or the commodity would take those US dollars and trade them back for their own currency. But people are now trading directly into their own currencies. Yeah, so we're going to Mon Kooloor, which apparently means my buns in Greek, and it's a play on words. It's a bit lost in translation. So, but we're going to go there and grab a coffee and a bun and enjoy life and just have a good time, a bit of a relaxation. Yes, hello. Hello. Ένα diplo espresso megala παρακαλώ. Can I also grab one of these ones here? Wonderful, thank you very much. Bye-bye. So if you want really fresh coffee and really fresh bread and that's pastries, there's nothing like this place here in the middle of Athens. It's on Athena Street, near, or in between really, Monastraki and Ammonia. And Mon Kooloor, and it means my buns, I think, in Greek. So, but it's my favorite place in all of Athens. I've always wanted, in the 3 years I've been here, I've wanted fresh, nice pastry, and I've not found it anywhere else. When I found this, I was like, finally, I've got something that's really, really nice and reminds me of Australia and all the beautiful pastries that I get there. So when you're in Athens, you want to come here and enjoy it. Yeah, so one of the things that you'll want when you're traveling as much as what I do is something that reminds you of home. And when I found Mon Kooloor on Athena Street and had some of the pastries there and the buns, it was just reminded me of Australia. So you don't get that too often when you're in Greece or even anywhere else for that matter. So I love going there and just grabbing a coffee and a bit of a pastry and just enjoy something that sort of feels a little bit familiar. So I highly recommend them. As I said, they're on Athena Street, just up from Monastriaki, and yeah, so well worth the experience. The other thing that I really like about them is the coffee, and I've been to quite a few places here in Athens over the years, over the last 3-4 years anyway, and not found really good coffee. And so when you get good coffee like this, it's actually quite refreshing. So yeah, very, very good. So interesting times in regards to the settlement of our property. Just to give you a bit of an update on that, we're just waiting for the notaries to get off strike. So here in Greece, without a notary, you can't actually settle your property, and all the paperwork is in order, but without the notary we can't sit down and sign the contract and finalise things. So once that's all done, signed and sealed, we'll be out of here. We'll head to Thailand, and we're probably looking in the next couple of weeks. We were hoping to be out of here by now, to be honest, but without that notary we can't do anything. So yeah, impossible. The other thing that's a little bit of a word of warning, particularly if you've got property here in Athens, is making sure that you've got your water bill and electricity and everything in order, and make sure that you've got the utilities that you're paying for that is only being used by you. We've just found out that there's a number of other properties that are piggybacking off our water supply. So it's just one of those things that you want to be careful of when you're here. I mean, Greece is just absolutely stunning in the summer and spring, and there's nothing like it. Going to the Greek islands is a lot of fun, particularly if you ride motorbikes and that sort of stuff, and you enjoy the water and just relaxing. So very, very much worthwhile. But if you're here and you've got assets here, then you want to make sure that you're managing them properly. If you do need somebody who is going to manage your property for you, then I can forward some details to you. But just a word of warning, when you're here and you own property, make sure that everything is ironed out and straight, because you can find yourself paying for other people's utilities, and you can also be in a situation that is extremely confusing, particularly for a foreigner. It's also confusing for some of the legal professionals that are over here. So if they're confused, we're even more confused. So that's Greece though, and you know, it's one of those things you've got to be a bit patient with. You don't want to get too angry and upset over, but you certainly need to be forceful and just let people know that you're not happy with the current arrangements. So particularly with you know, getting your utilities ironed out, make sure that that is done correctly. Make sure that your property titles are registered. Get a receipt for that. And you want to make sure that your utilities are in your name and everything is paid up to date before you actually purchase the property and you settle. And otherwise you're going to have problems further up ahead. So just keep that in mind. But apart from that, Greece is unreal in the spring and summertime, and great for a holiday. But if you've got the capacity to buy property here, then yeah, go and do it. but just be mindful. It's fairly complicated at times.